Hi guys, welcome to Just Trying to Help a Sister Out, the video series where I talk to the women about what's on the minds of men. And recently I did a video on giving up on love. If you want to check that video out, I'll link it in the card above. In it, I did mention that once upon a time, a young lady that I had been spending a lot of time with asked me where this was going in terms of our hanging out, and that caused me to head for the hills. It caused me to run. And I did say in that video that perhaps I should do a dedicated video on why men run from questions like, where is this going? What are we? Are we in a relationship? So on and so forth. Anyway, you are in luck because this is that video. Dating is a really nice thing. You know, you meet someone nice, you spend a lot of time with them, you talk to them, you get to know them, and ultimately over time, you develop feelings for them. And this often causes one of the parties in that relationship to want to have the talk. Now, what is the talk, you ask? The talk is very interesting. It's like a juice brand in the sense that it has different variants. It can come in form of a question like, what are we? Where is this going? What are your intentions? What do you want from me? All questions that make men want to head for the door. And the reason why men don't like being asked those questions, there are a number, but I think I've identified three. First of all, men don't like being asked where a relationship is going because they tend to feel like they're being cornered or they're being backed into a corner. It's something that we don't see coming, and when that happens, for a lot of men, we just feel like our back is up against the wall. It's a feeling we don't like. That's one reason. Another reason is because sometimes, well actually many times, many men feel like they're being trapped. I'll explain. A lot of people these days want to settle down, they want to get married. And a lot of people, to be honest, don't care about who they settle down with. They just feel like if the person ticks off some basic boxes that they're good to go, and there isn't any real connection or any real love for that person. And ultimately, they trap someone. And a lot of men feel like when they're being backed into the corner and asked, where is this relationship going? They feel like, you know, the woman wants to trap them and she doesn't know them well enough, or understand them well enough, but she just wants to settle down or be in a relationship. So a lot of men feel like they're being trapped when they're asked that question. The third reason is because, to be honest, a lot of men do not have an answer to those questions. And that's what happened to me when I was asked. I did not have an answer to the question. When it comes to relationships, women tend to know earlier what they want out of a relationship and what they want from a particular guy. While they, while women can see like 6 months down the road with a guy, or 1 year down the road, or maybe even up to the altar with a guy, a lot of men cannot even see beyond that particular week with a woman. They can't see beyond the next date. So I think women tend to get to a certain point emotionally and mentally in a relationship much quicker than men do. And the truth is, we know why you're asking the question, ladies, and we know the answer that you would like. You'd like to hear, oh, I think you're lovely. I really enjoy spending time with you, and I'd like to see how far this can go. I'd like to, get to know you so much more, and I'm hoping for a great future with you. That's the answer that most women want to hear, and we know this, but that's not the answer we can provide at that point in time. What we know at that point in time is that we like hanging out with you, we enjoy your company, and that's pretty much it. And we know that that's not the answer you want to hear. So it feels like it's a lose-lose situation. Now, whether or not us men like being asked those questions, the fact remains those are questions that need to be asked, and those are conversations that need to be had. Because in a relationship, you need to know where you stand. Everyone deserves to know where they stand. If you're in a relationship with someone going, down the same road to the same destination, or if you're going in opposite directions, if they just want to hang out and, have someone to watch movies with or go for parties with, or if they're looking for something more solid, more long-term, and more committed, everyone deserves to know. Now, there is a secret in doing this or doing it successfully and getting the right answers. It boils down to when to ask and how to go about asking. First of all, I think it boils down to timing. Like I said earlier, in a relationship, women tend to know much earlier what they want out of a relationship. But men, it takes us a little while longer. So I think when it comes to timing, You just have to wait for when it's the right time. And by that, I mean you have to establish enough information or knowledge about each other before you can make an informed decision, before you can actually ask him the question of what do you want out of this. You ask at the point where he knows enough about you and he knows what he wants from you or from the relationship. Look at it this way. Imagine you go to the Apple store and you pick up the latest iPhone and you look at it for about 20 seconds and then you ask the guy, the Apple genius guy, how much is this iPhone? And he says $1,000. And you're like, whoa, this is too expensive. It can't be that great a phone. It's too expensive for $1,000. You put it down and you walk away. Now imagine if you pick up the same phone and then the Apple genius guy gives you a presentation. He tells you about what the phone does, the technology in it, how it's an advancement from the previous editions, and he gives you a nice presentation and shows you things on the phone and whatnot for about maybe 10-15 minutes. And then after that, you ask him, how much is this phone? And he says $1,000. Once you've been told what the price is for that phone, it's different from if you had just picked it up for a few seconds, asked for the price and dropped it. Now you have more information about the device. You know the value of it, and you can actually probably justify the price or the financial sacrifice for that phone. It's kind of the same way with relationships. Once you have enough information about the person, after spending a good amount of time, which a lot of guys actually require, then you can make an informed decision. It's just that, unfortunately, that informed decision could either be in your favor, where he wants to take things further with you, or he can decide that, this really isn't what I'm looking for, in which case you both cut your losses and you go your separate ways. Now, another way to go about asking that question, and maybe even not asking the question entirely or directly, is to watch his actions. The thing about people who have genuinely good intentions is that they want you to know that they have good intentions. So by their actions, they show you that they care about you, or they let you know where their mind is at concerning you. Does he pick you up when you guys are going out? Is he concerned about you? Does he look out for your welfare? How does he react when you guys are out in public? You need to watch all those actions, the big and small things, to know where he stands with you or how he views you. And once you know that, once you get a good perception of that, you can now decide when it would be a good time to ask him that question, because you see what his body language and what his actions are saying. It's very much like what Michelle Obama said in that video that went viral not too long ago, when she was talking about Barack Obama being very direct when they were dating in the early days. He said, he liked her and he wanted to move things along with her while she was stalling and trying to get him to meet her friends and follow all kinds of due process. But she said that he was very direct and she really appreciated that about him. If you meet a guy who has serious intentions for you, he'll be very direct and he'll let you know what's on his mind, especially if he has good intentions, like I said. And finally, when you eventually do have the talk with him and when you ask him, where is this relationship going or what are we doing here, try not to make it look like you're pressuring him or like you're being desperate, because people tend to interpret pressure as being desperate, and that's not an attractive quality to anyone. So be subtle about it as best you can. Know how to go about it. If you're going to do it when you guys are going out on a date, try not to do it at the beginning of the date or in the middle, because if it doesn't go well for him or if he doesn't react to it well, he's going to be on edge throughout the date, or the date may even be cut short. So maybe towards the end of the date, in the car when he drops you off or on the way home, you can decide to bring it up if you feel like it's the right time and he's ready to handle it. Now, those are the ways or the tips you can use to go about asking that question. But just bear in mind that there's always the possibility of getting a negative answer. So brace yourself for that possibility as well. The only advantage is that you know that there's no future in this relationship and you can cut your losses and you can move on, rather than being in there in that relationship, being strung along for an unspecified amount of time only to realize that the relationship was going nowhere. And another thing, even if a guy does tell you what you want to hear and says he wants to pursue something long-term with you, that doesn't mean that you should, throw common sense out of the window, because a lot of men know what women want to hear. So sometimes some men with bad intentions, they lie and tell a woman what she wants to hear so that she can drop or let down her guard. So even if a man does tell you what he wants out of the relationship that both of you are having or will commence or start to have, don't throw common sense out the window. Have your wits about you. Observe his actions and make sure they tally up with what he said. Okay? Well, that's it, guys. I hope I've been able to share some value with you guys, and you guys now know how to better navigate these waters of telling a man how you feel about the relationship or asking him where things are going. If you have any feedback or any comments or any suggestions, please let me know in the comments section below. I'm curious as to whether I've actually given you guys good advice. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, you can hit the subscribe button just below the video. You can also turn on notifications so that you're notified every time I put out a new video. I should warn you though, I don't always do relationship videos these days. I also do videos on personal finance and videos on voter education and politics. But if you want to watch more of my relationship videos, you can check the playlist called Just Trying to Help a Sister Out. That's where content like this one is stored. Okay, thanks once again for watching, guys. I will see you in the next one. Take care.